Good afternoon, everyone. Hello, and thank you for joining us this evening for the second week of the Rugby Research and Injury Prevention Group Summer Lecture Series. My name is Asha Godrej, and I will be chairing this evening. We're going to start tonight with our featured speaker, Dr. Eduardo Esteban Bustamante. Dr. Bustamante is an associate professor of kinesiology and nutrition at the University of Illinois Chicago and director of the UIC Healthy Kids Lab. He will present physical activity and ADHD, moving towards bright futures. Dr. Bustamante, could you please share your screen with us?
Hey everybody, good evening. It's a pleasure to meet you electronically for those of you who I didn't meet at American College of Sports Medicine. Um, uh, I've been a fan of Dr. Lopez for a few years now. I'm actually recruited him to come over to American College of Sports Medicine when I saw his work, and he's been just a fantastic energy and person to have around, and I appreciate how productive and how passionate your group is, and I always enjoy seeing you every year. So I want to share with you all a little bit about what we have going on in Chicago. So a little bit about me and about this topic. I'll throw this over here so that you guys can scan QR codes if you want to. I am an exercise psychologist by training. Uh, I was a very ADHD kid, so I bailed off my basketball teams, spent all my middle school days in detention. Uh, Definitely had, the frustrations of not liking school. And as I got more serious about sports, I loved sports. I just dreamed about sports and thought about sports. Actually, to this day, I still dream about playing basketball when I sleep at night. Um, and as I got more serious about that, and I was serious about training, and I was serious about my sleep routine and about my diet, I became a better student. And I pretty quickly actually was a better student than a athlete, which kind of made a career path pretty clear for me. But I became really fascinated with why is it that when I'm more disciplined about my sport, I'm more able to focus and I do much better in school. And so then when I found out that there was this field, exercise psychology, where you could try to tease out what's happening, I became really fascinated and committed. Um, at UIC, where I'm at, University of Illinois Chicago, I run a Healthy Kids Lab. That QR code there will take you to our lab, and it has an overview of our publications, our projects, et cetera, our team. And we have a focus on uh, health behaviors and mental health. So my field is really about how can we apply psychology to get people to be active and to eat vegetables, et cetera. And if you do those healthy things, what's the effect on mental health? And then we have a focus on kids, especially, and a focus on kids with ADHD. On the bottom here is a bunch of our partners. So we partner with parks around the city of Chicago, schools around the city of Chicago, after school providers. We've had some really generous funders, and it's allowed us to do some cool work. Um, I want to plug my professional societies here for those of you all who are not aware. So I'm a trustee of the American College of Sports Medicine. That meeting just happened a week or two ago in Atlanta. It's a really fantastic meeting. If you're not already a member, I would encourage you to sign up and attend. You're just seeing really fantastic research. I'm also the president-elect of the North American Society for Pediatric Exercise Medicine. So this is a much smaller organization, 100, 200 people, all researchers focused on youth. So if you're interested in youth rugby, youth sport, this is a great meeting for you to go to. Our next meeting is going to be in Chicago, so I'll be hosting it in 2026. So we'll have one more ACSM, and then August 2026, we'll have our NASPM meeting. It's one, you're in one room, one person's presenting, and so if you're presenting to the whole conference. And so you get, 4 days with the best child physical activity researchers in the world. You get to see some of the best research, and you get a lot of time to discuss it and spend time with those people. So I urge you to consider both of these organizations. So for this talk, um, I want to talk to you all about, I guess, my experience as somebody with ADHD, as a scientist, like what it means to study this with somebody, as somebody who has experienced this. We'll talk a little bit about the base of what ADHD is, the idea that exercise is medicine for ADHD, some lessons I've learned about how much the context of sport and physical activity programs matters. To me, context is king. And then I want to make a pitch for you that doing your current jobs well, doing your sport medicine job well, doing your coaching jobs well, that is in and itself mental health promotion. And the more that we can include and reach kids with ADHD and make physical activity part of their lives, the more impact we're going to have. Um, if I can I ask if anyone else here has ADHD? Maybe like just show me your virtual hand or uh, your raised hand. Can I ask if anybody has a partner, a spouse, boyfriend or girlfriend, husband or wife who has ADHD? Maybe, and then keep them up. Thank you, Lucy. Uh, Maybe anyone who has a kid with ADHD, a friend. Do you all?
A little young group for kids, but go
Okay,
ahead.
friend hit that friend hit much better. Do you all coach sports largely? Some of you. Do you have ADHD kids on your teams?
I do.
Yeah. Um, I wonder about representation of kids with ADHD in different sports, but rugby seems like one where an ADHD kid could have a lot of fun, uh, and it'd be okay to kind of be a little bit of a wild person. Um, okay.
The unfortunate thing, they have to be a little bit more disciplined so they don't get hurt.
Hmm.
That's what's the demand. You're
Yes.
almost forced to be structured so that you don't get hurt in rugby, and that's where the challenge lies.
Yeah.
But since it is so structured, it's actually good for them.
Yeah. I'm hoping that over these 45 minutes or so that we have together, I can give you an idea of the research, but also give you some ideas of what you can do as a friend or coach or partner or parent uh, to help, advance the health and wellness of kids with ADHD and include them in sport. All right. So one of the things I've had trouble doing my whole life is having people understand. I think what my brain feels like. You don't know what other people's brains feel like. I just know what mine's feel like. And I came up with this analogy that I hope communicates it pretty well. Um, what it's felt like for me to have ADHD. Um, Other people might say the experience is different, but this is pretty genuine for me. So if you can, uh, close your eyes here or keep them open, but I want you to get a pretty vivid image of yourself as a child. And you were a child and you love dinosaurs. You think about dinosaurs, you dream about dinosaurs, you talk about dinosaurs. You're just super into dinosaurs. You really don't do anything else. They tell you to learn math and you refuse. And then they're like, you should get into bowling. You're like, no, I want dinosaurs. You guys can open your eyes. Uh, you kind of ride this dinosaur passion into your dream career. You become a paleontologist and you develop all of the skills to use the brush really well and the radars and you know what bone is from what millennia and you're become super talented at this thing because you're so passionate about it and you're very, very thankful. But there's a little bit of a twist for you, which is that your work is in dark caves. So you're really good with this brush, and you're good at digging up the fossils and figuring out what they are. But you work in a cave, which isn't look being in a cave is not a big deal because you have a flashlight. So you just you throw on the flashlight and then you can dig out your fossil. Uh, you do have a little bit of a different situation from the people around you though, because in your case, the flashlight is on the head of a puppy. So, you're very talented. You love fossils, you love paleontology. All the other paleontologists, they just have this flashlight in their hand and they can just put it on the fossil that they want to work on. Then they just work on it. And then when they want to go to lunch, they go to lunch. Then they come back and they work on it some more. And then, like, I don't know, they're done at 5 and um, it's it's very efficient. But you got this puppy. And so in the analogy for me, this puppy is sort of like the flashlight is my focus, and the puppy is sort of like it's like my ability to control my focus, my imagination, and so the puppy is kind of like running all around this cave. Yeah, the puppy smells things you don't smell and it sees things you don't see. So it's in a way, it's an advantage. You find cool stuff, but also you have to constantly be negotiating and wrangling and trying to get it to focus on the fossil that you want it to focus on, so that you can do, you can work on it. And the reality is, you're unbothered by this. You love caves, you love paleontology. You'll just spend your whole day in the cave. You'll follow around the puppy. You'll learn all about the cave and all about the fossils. And you're actually you're very good at this. Now, life starts to happen. You start to move into, grad school, postdoc, professional, and now you have a boss. And your boss says, "Hey, I need you to work on the fossil in the northwest corner, and I need it to be done by 5 p.m. today." Okay. So everyone's sitting there and they're getting their fossil done. And then you are kind of chasing the puppy around the cave.